Spanking Air 650 here with Krazy Cat Airsoft. Today we are looking at my Masada, specifically how I set it up for ops. What I call this are op guns. They are guns that are designed predominantly for ops. So let's take a look. Here is what I call my op Masada. What this one is designed mainly to do is going to be used for ops. So one of the first things that we want with an op gun is that we want to last all day in the field or pretty close. So there's two ways we can do that. One, we can put a really large battery. Like right now I have a 7.4 LiPo 3,900 milliamps. I also have a 5,000 one, which I'm working with a little bit, mainly because the wires are a little too thick. But basically you want to be able to have either a pretty large size battery or to have it be easy to access. So you can change batteries in the field. Now a tad bit of warning with that, if you have a LiPo battery, make sure you store those LiPo batteries on your kit, on your gear, in some sort of hard container. If a BB is to hit the LiPo, or say you were to fall on the LiPo and damage the LiPo, it is no longer usable and it is unsafe to charge or even discharge possibly, because it could start a fire. So make sure they're nice and secure and they're protected. So a nice PEC box like this gives it protection. Now, this is the Echo one or the SEMA one that I had in another video. Did do a few more modifications. I kind of trimmed it up here a little bit. I also enlarged the opening out here so it takes some batteries a little better. Now I decided to mount this one on the side. The reason being is I want to lower the center of gravity. So any sort of weight, I want to get it down lower. At the same time, I can't have it interfering with my hand, but I want to get that weight lower so as I'm shifting the system to the left and the right, it's not going to wobble on me. Usually I give my Masada a little bit of a weight loss. So I want to keep this gun light. Why? Well, I'm going to be handling this gun all day. Because of that, I want to shave some weight off of it. Now there are a few features on here that actually do add a little bit of weight. One being the stock right here. The folding stock does weigh more. But I can fold it back in case I need to stow it back. For a vehicle or for lightweight. They do claim that you can store 123 batteries in here. There is one down there. I have not been able to get it out. So this thing should be a little larger, but it is not. And now there's a battery stuck in there. I am keeping the backup iron sights. It is a little bit of dead weight there, but you know, most ops are a bit of more of a millstone, so it helps kind of have that look. Now for the sight, I had originally had this ACOG on here, and I took the doctor's sight off and I put that on the other gun. This ACOG sight here weighs 17.81 ounces. That is a lot of weight. The old phrase is ounces are pounds and pounds are pain. So I decided to ditch that, and instead I went with this AIM Sport reflex dot sight. Basically it's a replica of the True Glow. In the popular video game Battlefield 4, They claim it's a Chinese sight, holographic sight. It is not. It is but they call it the HD33. Now, one of the things I like about this is that the buttons on it are nice. One of the nice features about this is that it lets you choose the reticle that you want. This is kind of nice for personal taste. I have it on the cross sight, kind of similar to that kind of flat T that you see in Battlefield. And I found that one works the best in most light conditions. Additionally, I can switch the brightness quickly, and also the color between green and red. So it's a nice, easy sight to use. Works great. Very nice, lightweight. When I'm shifting it, the gun to the left and the right, it's not going to be wanting to teeter-totter or anything like that. So it makes it much easier to carry out. Nice and big. It's easy to operate. One of the nice features about this is that it lets you choose the reticle that you want. This is kind of nice for personal taste. I have it on the cross sight, kind of similar to that kind of flat T that you see in Battlefield. And I found that one works the best in most light conditions. Additionally, I can switch the brightness quickly, and also the color between green and red. So it's a nice, easy sight to use. Works great. Very nice, lightweight. When I'm shifting the gun to the left and the right, it's not going to be wanting to teeter-totter or anything like that. Another small touch that I also did with my PTS Masada is I did also add the real size handguard. It is, as you can look at this picture here, noticeably different by probably 10%. How does it feel? Like 10% better. It feels like this was how it was originally supposed to be designed. I like it. I use my grip more as a hand stop and a little bit of a handbrake here. Lets me access my light just fine. Additionally, if I hold the gun from the other side, it also lets me more easily activate the light from the other side, or even go over the gun to activate it. So I really recommend, if you want to run a more larger PEX size box in here, a little larger battery, I highly recommend you go try to find one of the real steel handguards, just because it adds a little bit more, not only a realistic feel, but just a much nicer feel to it. Now, if you're not running a PEX box or for a battery and stuff, definitely use the larger handguard because you can feel a larger battery. That's what it's all about. Again, try to find a bigger battery. If you're not going to run the PEX box, definitely run the standard handguard so you can run those batteries. Why didn't I run a rail system? 3 reasons. 1, this fits really nice and well here. Additionally, it's much lighter. Additionally, notice how the light and the PEX box are mounted. They are not mounted on a direct 90. They're mounted more on a 10-degree slant angle. This lets me manipulate the gun a lot better without this interfering. Additionally, if it was right flush here, my hand would always be getting out of the way. I have everything mounted slightly forward, and also that angle prevents my hand from having that stuff interfering with my hand. So some of you are thinking, why did I put a pistol light in here instead of a full-size rifle sight? Well, pistol lights are much lighter, so why carry around this big heavy thing when I can have something light? Additionally, I play in a more woodland area, a little less close quarters, so a flashlight is not that important. If I was playing a lot of CQB stuff, I would of course run this sight since it has a longer battery life. Now the flash hider here is all looks. It's actually quite heavy for this one. Personally, if I was to go absolutely lightest, I would actually probably put maybe a replica of a battle comp. But I have this nice one here, looks great on the PTS. I'll sacrifice a little bit of weight here, a little extra weight here for just that better, nicer look to it. Now with magazines here, I want to run highest capacity. So right here I have one of the SOCOM gear replicas of the L5 made by Lancer. The downside to this magazine, I did have to modify it. When I used to lock the magazines in, the latch here, you would always see it stick up a little bit. Basically the hole just wasn't deep enough. I disassembled the magazine by removing the screw here and the plate, sliding everything out. I took the time to paint it, and then I took a Dremel and then I just drilled out that hole all the way through, so that way the magazines latch in nice and well. Have a QD sling here. I use one of the Magpul slings, so if I need to sling this rifle to my back, I can easily do so. I also have the single point sling back here. Now for the internal upgrades that I did for this, basically I want to get longevity with a good balance between rate of fire and proper energy output. So what I have in here is a Prometheus 363mm 6.03 barrel, a G&G bucking, with the wee hop-up adjuster. The air nozzle is a aluminum O-ring air nozzle made by Airsoft Pro.cz. It has an Angel polycarbonate piston, a Modify AUG cylinder head made by Modify with a servo pad. Because of that servo pad, I have to run an equivalent of an M135, and I use a Prometheus spring in there, and I get roughly 183 feet per second with a plus or minus variation of about 0.2, depending on my BBs. It is powered by a Lonex A1 motor with SHS gears with an 18.1 standard gear ratio. Now the spring guide is actually, I got an Aries G36 spring guide for their QD springs, and I basically took it apart and put the took apart the original Magpul one, and then I kind of melded them together to produce a removable spring guide that takes very little. It doesn't have any grinding or anything on it, but it works great. The gun is equipped with a MOSFET made by Extreme Fire. There's actually two little computers in here. A SW Cheetah 2N MOSFET, which is their top of the line MOSFET, and then with it, it has a SW-UCM. Basically, the UCM, what it has in it has a micro switch debouncing algorithm. As you know, you cannot use active braking with a micro switch, because every time the gun fires, the switch twitches a little bit, and it causes the gun motor to overheat. What the UCM, it works around, it figures out as that trigger is bouncing what is a true trigger pull and what is not. What this allows you to do is that it lets you to run active braking with the MOSFET. So this gun does have an active braking computerized MOSFET, and the power does go directly from the battery through the MOSFET to the motor. Does not, all that goes through the trigger switch here is just a very low voltage, and every time you pull that trigger, it tells the MOSFET to run the power from the battery to the motor. So what's always happening is that the micro switch, it only has low voltage going through it. It will never have high voltage. Allow the micro switch to last much longer. So that concludes our Magpul Masada that we've designed predominantly for the ops. Sorry about towards the end there, I started getting a little tired. So hope you enjoyed the video.